we are going to see about the domain name system. What the domain name system is doing. Okay. What have any idea? Na? Domain name system translates the internet domain name and host name to IP address. For example, I want to get Google www.google.com. It won't recognize as a www.google.com. It will go and find out the corresponding IP address, and then it will communicate to the nearby server to launch in the client website, client system. Are you clear? So domain name system is, you particularly understand that, because very simple example, in my phone, I want to dial anyone else, whether I will remember the number or name. I will remember the name only. Okay, I can't remember the number. So what I will do, for every number, I will store it in my, I will store with the name. And you all know now, for our sake, how we were doing. If all of my Satyabama students, I will store it as a SBU. Okay, or else if any of the friends in some other college, I will store by their college. Then it is easily, automatically, I can retrieve their number, because 1 or 2 or 3 people having the same name also. So domain name also doing the same thing. What it doing now? Converting. You all understand the internet domain and host name to IP address, and vice versa. It will do vice versa also. Okay. Now you just remember, this is the diagram. Okay. Whether DNS is, domain name system, is necessary. Yeah, definitely. I can remember the google.com, but you see 172.217.167.46. It is very difficult, but when you type this number 172.217, then automatically Google will come. Okay, I think I will show you that. I have poor memory. 172.217.167.46. Now itself I cannot remember. If I type, automatically what will launch now? Google will, google.com. So it will convert IP address into website, or website into IP address. But you just remember, I typed the IP number, I got it. Okay. Now I'm closing this tab, and I'm simply putting www.google.com. And you all know nowadays we have this automatically website, but remembering the name is very difficult task for us. Okay. Now, so you all understand, it is a similar concept how we were remembering the name instead of number in our mobile phone. Similarly, the DNS is helping to remember only the IP address, not IP address, host name or internet address. That it will automatically convert into the corresponding logical address. It will do vice versa. We have seen now one. Okay, you listen this. This is the best example I have given you. Okay, every time, for example, this is a Facebook IP address. So we all know to type the Facebook www.facebook.com, we will simply put 192.168.1.2. We can't able to do that. So that is taken care by the DNS, domain name system. Okay, so you all remember the same thing. If I want communicating the name, the DNS will convert into number, and then it will communicate to the nearby server, and then it will be launched in the application layer. Are you clear? Types of DNS server. Okay, what are the types of DNS server are there? You kindly note down these types of DNS server. DNS recursive resolver, root name server, top level domain DNS server, authoritative name server. You kindly name. I think again the same thing. Why this figure is given like this? Now, DNS server contains video file, audio file, document, HTML. I think while yesterday I'm speaking about to get the HTML code, you have a view page source. Okay, when I'm uploading my, while you look up that, my POP3 is displaying the message, new message and all. And if I go for my older messages, my IMP AP will display that messages. If I want to download anything, I have to go with POP3. If I want to send any messages, I will use SMTP. This is the 3 protocols you all understand while I'm sending them to you. Now, when you see to that, if I press Control U, last class, I think I have asked you that the HTML code, automatically you will get the HTML code of any of the website using Control U. Yesterday I asked them, pressing something, you will get that HTML code. Now, yeah. Okay. So you all understand this DNS server, why I came to HTML now, that source code one. Okay. Any video, HTML code, audio or images, everything will be in the DNS server. These are the 4 types. Have you all take down? DNS recursive resolver, DNS resolver, root name server, top level domain server, and one more is authoritative name server. Okay. So while we will see one by one in detail, okay, the domain name resolver, okay, we used to say sometimes internet service provider. We all know today, but BSNL is missing. It is our government agency. Jio, Airtel, Idea, all that internet service provider will look upon the DNS server, where we have seen that while I'm communicating with my sender, I want to send any mail to receiver now. First, it will communicate to the internet through the router, and then it will forward it to the internet service provider A, service provider AB. Then it will look up on the nearby server, and then it will be received to the receiver. Okay, so I think we will see one by one. Root name server, top level domain name server, authoritative name server. Okay, root name server, we have 13 sets. Okay, well, while I'm saying like that, we use the extension org. Org is for the root name server. Okay. Top level domain server, .com, .net, .india, education. Okay, in our Satyabama, we are using .ac.in, academia. All this will come under the top level. Okay, why they are saying that we have a root structure, then we have a top level domain structure. There we will classify. I told you now, if I want to save my number in my mobile, I will use Satyabama as a one group of things. And other college name or my family members, all I will store it separately with the prefix and suffix. I will add it now. The same way in the domain name server also, they have that root name server, top level domain server, authoritative name server. So you all understand, these are the CMD commands. That is, we can use it in our command prompt. Okay, so I'm using NS lookup. Okay, set query equal to NS, and I can give that name also. You just see that. I will go to the command prompt. Okay, I will move to my command prompt. Okay, I think it's visible. CD /. Okay. If I want to get this IP config, if you type this, automatically you will get it. I told you that DNS domain name server will place that. So see, connection specific DNS prefix. Okay, IPv6 address, IPv4 address, subnet mask, default gateway and all. Okay, and then if I put one more command, NS lookup. Okay, this is default server unknown, and address it is mentioned as a 10.192.3.253. Okay, so that these are the some of the command prompt which will display the DNS complete addresses, details and all. And even we can use the, for example, set query equal to NS and satyabama.ac.in. Okay, these are the some of the commands. You have seen that we have a two name server, how, what will be the thing, everything we will get it in detail. Okay. I will tell you the AAA, you all seen that? Yeah. Yeah, have you seen? A na end device IPv4 address, NS na authoritative name server, 4A na and end device IPv6 address, MX na and mail exchange code. So there are some records are that. Well, you give with that, we have a 4A. 4A instance, you have to understand that it is an end device IPv6 address. Okay, now I will go to my command. So some of the commands we can get using the, so you may always use ipconfig to get the DNS server details. Use ipconfig. Okay, ipconfig. This you can get it, but you do it in your command prompt, you may get about all the address and all. Previous day, on the day I tried to get from my network, but you all know, here we all are connected with server client request. So through the ipconfig one day, I get all my IPv4 address and IPv6 address and all. Okay. Now, I told you this commands and all, NS lookup, set query and is facebook.com. All this will be, I will get. Okay. Now, you just look up this imagine how it is working. Okay. So now I want to communicate. I'm giving my www.facebook.com. Okay. And while getting my facebook.com, it always communicated my DNS resolver. DNS resolver means what? Our nearby internet service provider. Okay. And that internet service provider will look up on the 3 servers. We told you 3-4 servers are there. One is DNS resolver. Second one is root name server. And the third one is top level domain server. And fourth one is authoritative name server. So first I'm typing www.facebook.com in my laptop. Okay. Then automatically it will communicate with the DNS resolver. And that DNS resolver will go and search root name server. Root name server means .not.org will be there. So it will reply that it will be available in the TLD. TLD means top level domain name server. Then it will communicate with the top level domain name server. So definitely the .com will be there. But the authoritative name server will store the website IP address. Then it will communicate to that. Then automatically my DNS resolver will communicate with the Facebook server, and then automatically it will be displayed in my system. So that you all understand one thing. If, for example, I am always using www.google.com, you see some of this is stored in cache. While it is in cache, there is no need of such a process. When you go YouTube, Gmail, when you open this website, Amazon used to buy the things, online things, that will be stored in your cache, the DNS resolver cache. Automatically it will go and fetch the data and it will display. If it is not so far we are not accessing that now automatically. Why? Because the IP addresses, now I told you that DNS will always convert my host name to IP and IP address and IP address to host name. Both will be possible. Are you clear on these things? Okay. So we will say that we all know one website I am registering now. While I have to register the website, that is, I have to register the website. For example, some of the website, for example, any website you want to register, you have to register in the registry. And while I am registering in the registry, it always check whether it is authoritative name server, because .com is available in the top level domain. Why we are checking now? Always that this particular website is a authoritative name server. It will look up and then it will fetch the data and it will display. Clear? Actually, this is one of the example I have put up you how it is communicating. Okay. Actually, when you see this particular link, I will give you Wireshark. If you put this Wireshark, automatically you may see what are the DNS address you are communicating. When you click on this, wait, when you click on this, are you listening, students? It will take time for me. Yeah. See, capturing packet. You just go, you to go by downloading this Wireshark. You have a wireless toolbar, and that wireless toolbar, you can see what are the websites you are accessing. Everything you can able to view and you can save. Okay, so the capturing will be available. Capturing what are the DNS server, what are the websites you are communicating, everything you can be able to take. But for that, we have to download the Wireshark. By download it, you can able to see. You may download it and follow the steps, and you may get it. I will tell you a few at the end. Now you listen how the communication is happening. I want to send one mail to my friend. Okay, so through the Yahoo. So first it will go to the ISP, Internet Service Provider. Internet Service Provider will communicate to the DNS server. DNS servers tell you, okay, wait, I will find out what is the corresponding IP address for that. That will communicate to the Internet Service Provider. Then that will be sent through the internet. And through the internet, it will be communicate to the corresponding. This is the operation. So very simple. I want to send any mail. Every time the DNS plays the roles of that, convert that particular mail ID into IP. So communicating to ISP, nearby ISP, then dons domain name server, and domain name server gives the IP address, and that IP address will communicate to the internet, and through the internet it will be communicated to the end user. So we have seen that now we have a 4 domain name server. What are they? What are the 4 domain name server? What are the domain server, ma'am? 4 domain server. Put it in the chat. What are the 4 domain servers? What are the 4 domain servers we have seen? No one. Tell me the 4 domain server, ma'am. Students? Tell me the 4 domain server. Monish, you want to say? What are the 4 domain server? Domain name, server resolver, root server, top level domain server, authoritative name server. Domain name resolver is nothing but your internet service provider. Root server, it's all with the org and all. Top level domain server with some extensions. Even top level domain server, if I request any of the web page, it will go and check whether it is an authoritative name server, because everything website, every website we will register it. Are you listening? Anyone kindly acknowledge me. I'm taking the class for you. I'm preparing the PPT with animations and all. Students, are you listening? At least Sagar, Shrikant, these 2 guys will reply. What happened to that 2 also?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Alina, tell me, Alina. Okay, this is the, yeah, thank you, Alina. Okay, so, okay. So always remember 4 server, root DNS resolver, okay, our ISP. If any website I request, if it is available in the cache, it will directly take, or else it will check for the root name server. If it is not there, it will go and check in the top level domain server. But the top level domain server will check whether it is an authoritative name server. Then only it will communicate to the DNS resolver, that is ISP. Then only it is reached to my laptop or my system. Are you clear? This is the procedure we used to follow with the help of four server. Now, the next topic is components of domain name server, domain name system. You just take down this components: domain name, namespace, name server, name resolver. Kindly take down this four: domain name, namespace, name server, name resolver. Have you all take down? Kindly acknowledge me, ma. Have you all take down? Components of DNS: domain name, namespace, name server, name resolver. Have you taken down? Take down. Okay. Now we will see one by one. Domain name. We have a DNS protocol that can be used in different platforms, but you all know it have a tree-like structure. Okay, we have a, you all listen, it's always application layer, other layers and all, you don't know what is happening. But this particular layer, you may have that you are the interface between the application and the underlying computer networks. So you have to know that. Okay, so domain name. Domain name means it have a three different category in the network, internet. Generic domain, country domain, inverse domain. We all know the components of DNS, domain name system. First, we are going to see domain name. We are going to see the domain name. You take down this. We have a three names: generic name, country name, inverse name. Generic name, it is key 3 character only will be that. Generic name contains 3 character one. The 3 character domains are called as a generic name. What are the best examples? .com, commercial organization. .edu, educational organization. .gov, government organization. .int, international organization. .mil, military group. .net, network support centers. .org, non-for-profit organization. So, generic organization means, generic domain means all having a 3 character in that domain. Okay, so you all understand this is my root. We have told you now, root level server. In that root level server, I have a tree structure. Okay, I have one generic domain, one country domain, one inverse domain. So generic domain having a 3 character with commercial organization, educational organization, government organization, international organization, all this. Yes. Now you see to that in the generic domain. Okay, these are called as a top level domain. EDU, COM, GOV, INT, MIL, NET, ORG, all will come under the top level domain. Okay, when you see to that on when any of the website, www.google.com, okay, www.gmail.com, yahoo.com, okay, and when you go with that educational edu, okay, .annauniv.edu, all this will be comes under that. Okay, so this is called as a top level domain, and this is called as a second level domain. So they gave one example, .com, any extension with .com, edu resource1.com. Okay, this is one of the website. They were saying that. Okay, so even we can say that www.google.com, that is also our second level domain. So one root will be there. In that I have a 7 top level domain, and from the 7 top level domain, if I want to aggregate that, I have a second level domain. Okay. Country domain, you all understand. I think we all know for India, we are so www.satyabama.ac.in. That in stands for India. AC stands for academia. Okay, our Satyabama is available it's in India only. So we have used the extension .in. So similarly, for all the country, we have a country character. So we have used only 2 characters for country domain. How we used 3 characters for generic domain. Similarly, we use only 2 characters for country domain. Austria, AT, AU. Yesterday only I told you. Colombia, CO. Australia, AU. Okay. Canada, CA. Switzerland, CH. China, CN. Germany, DA. Spain, ES. France, FR. Hong Kong, HK. India, IN. Israel, IL. Italy, IT. Japan, JP. South Korea, KR. New Zealand, NZ. Portugal, PT. Qatar, QA. Russia, RU. United States, US. And United Kingdom, UK. Zimbabwe, ZW. So that's why our website is www.academia. Under the country domain, we are comes under the India. So 3 characters for generic domain, 2 characters for the country domain. Okay. Okay. Similarly, when you see that country, I will take you now top level domains. You all understand that top level domain will always change from that. My country domains are the top level domain. Can you tell me any website with the .in? Except satyabama.ac.in. Can you tell me any other websites with .in? Don't say bcc.in also. Yeah, I'm getting Amazon.in. Very good, Alina. Yeah, because you all know Amazon having a service all over the world. So when you go, I want to get only the Indian, I will use Amazon.in. So similarly, when you understand this is my root, my top level domain and my second level domain. It's clear. So Australia, Canada, France, India, UK, US, Zimbabwe, all this have a 2 character country code. And from that, we want to access www.bcc.in. Okay, our cricket body want to access bcci.in. It is our Indian access. Okay, www.amazon.in. Okay, similarly, we'll get it this information. Inverse domain. I told you what is inverse domain. It is like inverse. IP address will be given and you have to find out the main root. That is inverse. I think now I typed the Google now. I think I forgot the Google IP address. When I want to access the Facebook address and all now 192.168.1.2. 192.168.1.2. I think whether we have the access or not. So automatically it will go to the Facebook, www.facebook.com. So while it goes to www.facebook.com, this is my IP address. My IP, okay, I think here we are not supporting that. Similar way, I think Google only this is so far. Amazon.in, no. Same thing, 172 dot. I think I'm getting 172. Automatically now we fetch. So it is inverse domain. I'm searching the IP address, and IP address it is followed to the second level domain. Second level domain is what? My Google, and I go to the top level domain, that is .com. That is inverse domain. Have you understand? In domain name service, while we completed the first one, domain name, which having a 3 domains: country domain, generic domain, inverse domain. So generic domain we have seen with the 7 labels, and country domain we have seen some of the examples with 24 countries, and then inverse domain, reverse process. I think same thing is given: inverse, generic, country domain and all. This is the structure. Any root is there, then automatically from the root I get a top level domain and a secondary level domain will be available. Okay, same thing. You see that all the root with various that. If I want to access below that, then automatically this green color will be called as a secondary level domain, and this all will called as a top level domain. I gave only example only. Top level domain more than. See, this is the generic. I gave only 7 now. You see that all this airlines and aerospace companies, business firms, commercial organization, EDU, educational institutions, government institutions, information service provider. So we can able to register from the generic level domain to our secondary level domain. Okay. Country domain. I told you, US, United States. Okay. AE, Austria, I think. Zimbabwe. From that we can. If I go in the reverse order, that is called as a inverse domain. I told you. Inverse domain means the IP address, and from that I will find the address. Then it will reach. So when you see to that, I put my Google address 192.1.1, then it is identified Google, then com, then finally it reached the root level. So in domain name service, we have completed this domain name. We completed the domain name, I think. We have seen Dharna, FQDN, PQDN. FQDN means fully qualified domain names. PQDN now partially qualified domain name. Because while I want to have any websites, I have a registry there. I want to register my website. Then always the top level domain will search whether it is an authoritative name server. Then only it will communicate to the respondent. So you all understand, we have two things: fully qualified domain name and partially qualified domain name. I think they are say that label is terminated by a null string now, that is fully qualified. Not terminated by a null string now, that is partially qualified domain name. That is a absolute domain name, and this is a relative domain name. That's why there we have seen FQDN. FQDN now fully qualified domain name only this DNS server will do. And when you see to that here, there is no null string is at the end. That is here seen, there is no null string at the end. When the name to be resolved belong to the same set as a client. So this will be PQDN and this will be FQDN. There we can classify the two servers. In the domain name, we can classify that fully qualified domain name and partially qualified, apart from the country domain, inverse domain, generic domain, and all. Now we have seen, we will move on to the namespace. The next domain name service is called as a namespace. Okay, we have completed the domain name. We completed the domain name. Next, we are going to enter into the namespace. Namespace we are going to enter. Okay. So listen. Namespace. Namespace, we are having only two types: flat namespace, hierarchical namespace. So domain name system has 4 components. Domain name completed. The next component of domain name system is namespace. Namespace, we have 2 types: flat namespace, hierarchical namespace. What is flat namespace? No? See, the structure itself we will see. All the domain namespaces are connected to the root server. This is flat namespace. Hierarchical, now here it contains only the top level domain. Okay, so all my namespace is connected only with the root. Okay, so when you go with that, if I have that structure of second level domain, okay, and see that generic domain is there, country domain is there, inverse domain is there. So hierarchical namespace means they will identify what all will comes under the generic, country, inverse. So when you group together, it will be mapped. Can you understand the difference between the thing? All this we have identified this flat namespace. Now here it is not grouping. These are called as a generic domain. These are called as a country domain, and these are called as the inverse domain. We all know that. Till this, it will be the generic domain. Until this, it will be the country domain. And then it is called as the inverse domain. But this structure we don't have in the flat namespace. It is flat. It is connected only with the root. But hierarchical namespace now, it will divide. These are the generic domains: educational institution, companies, government organization, Australia, Zimbabwe, inverse domain. There I will identify from my IP address to the top level domain. So you all understand that if I have a hierarchical in my value, this is called as a hierarchical. I think namespace is very easy. Flat namespace now without specifying the domain areas. Hierarchical namespace now with specifying the domain areas. Is clear, ma? We completed the namespace also. Yes, we have completed the second one. Domain name is completed. Namespace is completed. Next one is name server. Name server. Okay. Name server. Okay. I told you that what is name server? What is the purpose of name server? A domain name server is a server that stores the domain name server records. Okay, what is record now? Address record will be there, name server record will be there, mail exchanger record will be there. Okay. It helps to connect. You all know your uniform resource loader with the IP address of web server. So it have a authority and also responsible for operation. So the DNS server will always have the. That's why I told you that Wireshark and all, when you take it, automatically you have an address record, name server record, mail exchanger record, everything will be DNS records. Okay, that DNS server will store all this record. Why we have a records now? That records will connect to the URL to the corresponding website. This is for authority and responsible for operation. Okay. Now I tell you that this is the we have seen the name server, top level domain, second level domain. Now we will use the technical term. Namespace, we are seeing now name server. Are you clear? Don't get confused, ma. We have 4 components. Okay, domain name we completed. Domain name, we have 3 domains: country domain, generic domain, inverse domain. Namespace, we have a 2T: flat namespace, hierarchical namespace. Now we are going to enter into the name server. Okay. Name server. Now in this name server, we are going to see what are the 2 types of name server. One is primary server and another one is secondary server. While you look up on that, this is hierarchy for name server. You all understand, root will be there, top level domain will be there, second level domain will be there. Okay. So root server, you all understand, this is my root. Root means which comes from the topmost branch. Root. And from the root, it will be connected to the it will be connected to the top level domain. And from the top level domain, it will be connected to the secondary level domain. So what we used to say now, this is if zone, we used to say this is entire will be the zone. This entire will be called as a domain. Okay. If zone consists of the full tree, then the zone server is called root server. Okay, you all understand? If the zone consisting of full tree, you all know from the EDU only, I'm getting all my secondary level domains, and from there only I'm connecting to the WAR. So this called is called as a root server. In the root server, we have 2 types of server: primary server, secondary server. So how we have domain name, generic, country, inverse domain, how namespace, flat space, and hierarchical namespace. Similarly, name server also we have 2 server. Why? What is the use of the server now? It always have the address of the records. Then we have seen that we have the address of the records, name server record, mail exchanger records. This is for authority and responsible for the operation. DNS server will hold all these data in the server. Okay, primary server and secondary server. Keep silent, mark. Primary server and secondary server. Okay, we have 2 types of server. It keeps a file about the zone for which it is carrying responsibly and have authority, that is primary server. We all understand that. We told you this root server, it is connected with the root server, which is the primary server. Okay. And what the primary server will do now, it will do all like create, update, and maintaining will be done by the primary server. Okay. Secondary server now, which there will be two servers there now, primary server and secondary server. The secondary server loads all the information from the primary server. It cannot perform any operation on zone 3. So that are called as a secondary server. So you understand two server, one is primary server and another one is secondary server. Primary server will maintain all this roots zone in the same domain. That so it can be able to create, update, and maintain. Secondary server, it always connect with the primary server only. It cannot perform any operation on the zone. Cannot able to create, update, or maintain. All this not will be done in the secondary server. Okay. So that's why they told you this. Then resolution. The last components of domain name system is resolution. I think I will tell you in quick what is name resolver. I told you mapping domain name to IP address. www.google.com. Now my DNS server will go and search what is the IP address of that google.com. It will go and will communicate to the client. That is one type of name resolver. The next one is inverse. I'm giving IP address, and from the IP address, I will find out the website. That is inverse domain. Okay. Then the name resolver. So this is the name resolver. In name resolver, we have two techniques. Okay. One is recursive resolution technique, and another one is iterative resolution. Okay. Recursive, iterative. These are the two techniques we are going to follow. So name resolver, now you have to understand, this is the topic behind the name resolver. Mapping domain name to IP name, mapping IP name to domain name. That is name resolver. Okay. So first we will go with the recursive. You just understand how I am getting Amazon dot. Understand. I am accessing eduresource1.com in my laptop. Okay. Now I want to go to Amazon.in. How it is communicating now? First, my client will communicate from Amazon.in. That is, it will go from the secondary level to top level domain, .in. And .in will say it is not available with me. Communicate to root. And then it will communicate with the root. Root say it is not in your website .in. Go and search in the .com. Okay. Then it will go to the .com. Then root server, it will communicate to the root server. Actually, it is available with me. I will take care of that. Then it will take the edu1resource.com and then it will display in the client. So this is recursive method. Recursive method means I am surfing www.eduresource1.com. Then I want to display Amazon.in. I'm searching Amazon.in and how I want to display this and all. This procedure is followed from one to another, from secondary level domain to top level domain to root level domain to another top level domain, and another top level domain to secondary level domain, and that secondary level domain go and search. That is called as a name resolver. Okay, from .in I cannot able to log in into .com directly. .com now I cannot go in directly into .in. It will do this kind of search and it will come back and it will display in the client side. Okay. You see, recursive, how it is searching. You just see .edu I am doing, edu. If I want to go with the .com, it will, the root server go and search the .com and then it will communicate and then it will display that. Okay. This is the way. Iterative method. Iterative method is nothing but what we have seen in the name resolver now. Just see the recursive method. What it will do, it will check the database and it will respond to other parent vendor.go. That is recursive method. Iterative method. Iterative method. My client is surfing Amazon.in. Then automatically it will go to the .in and it won't search. It will directly go to the root, and from the root it will communicate. It is not available with that. Go and communicate with the .com, and .com top level domain service will communicate with that. It is available with me. I will take from my server. We all know there are 4 servers there. So every time I need not to go and search in the priority like secondary to top, top to root. I will directly communicate with my root server. Root server, what it will do? Okay, it is available with the .com. Go and search in the top level domain of .com. .com, what it will do? We all know whether it is authoritative name server, it will check and then it will display in the client machine. These are the iterative method. Okay, so totally we have completed this domain name system today. Okay, domain name system. I think you understand 4 server is there. These are the 4 server. Okay, this is we have seen. DNS resolver is your Geo, Airtel, like your ISP. Root name server is the topmost. Then top level domain. Then authoritative name server. These are the 4 server which is available. But when you go with components of domain name, you understand this. We have a generic domain, country domain, inverse domain. Okay, and namespace we have a 2 types: flat namespace, hierarchical namespace. And name server we have a 2 server: primary server, secondary server. Name resolver we have a 2 name resolver, and one is we follow the recursive method, and another one is iterative method. Okay, have you understand this?